I had a library card, a drug habit, and a bus pass. And that's pretty much all I had when I lived in San Francisco. So it was my life before Tulsa, where I have a family and a phone and a car and a career. So all I had was getting high and riding the city bus to keep myself entertained. But San Francisco has such a wild public transportation system that they have an entire magazine dedicated to the crazy shit that people see on the bus that they submit. It's called the Muni Diaries, and I had nominated myself as the de facto lead correspondent. And I took my job serious. So it was kind of like the Hunter S. Thompson quote, when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. And I'm a weirdo connoisseur. So I married one who's cleverly disguised as a regular guy who was raised in a conservative Southern family that has strong opinions about tattooed eyeballs or public nudity. So I couldn't wait. This is a place where it's not uncommon to see a leather daddy with his vinyl-clad slave on a dog leash on the bus. Or to sit next to a dude that's got like denim Daisy Dukes on, a full-body jigsaw puzzle tattoo with a double nosebleed, just casually reading the paper. So I was on the 22 Fillmore one afternoon, and it was like right before rush hour, so that it wasn't packed, but it was pretty full, and there was a few seats that remained, and one of them was next to me. So this dude gets on that looks kind of like Jerry Seinfeld, like just a nondescript, like regular guy. He was wearing a baseball cap, tube socks, and sneakers, and nothing else. But he had accessorized with a large tropical bird on his shoulder. So he gets on there, and I'm like, God, if you love me, let this fucker sit next to me. And he did. So he plops his bare ass down on the seat, and I'm like, looking at his balls, looking at his bird, looking at his balls, looking at his bird, looking at his balls. And he notices. So he strikes up this like super casual conversation about the like unseasonably warm weather, right? Which I guess you have to like roll around with your cock and your cockatiel out like in the general public. So another time I was on the 30 Stockton that goes through Chinatown, which is always super crowded. So this little old lady gets on with this suitcase, and I stand up to give her my seat, and she's already like giving me dirty looks. So I'm like, I'm trying to be nice. It's like already hostile. So she sits down, and I'm positioned so that I can see when she opens her suitcase, she's got a live chicken in there. And she sees me watching her, and she slams it shut, and she glares at me. And in a few minutes, the bus kind of like lurches to stop, and I bump into her, and this old bitch hauled off and punched me in the middle of my ass. And like anybody else would have been furious, and I was like, oh, you made my day, thank God. So then another time, I'm riding the 24 to Visadero, and I'm sitting in one of those front row seats that faces the middle, like toward the aisle. And I'm reading a romance novel, which is embarrassing, so I have it flat on my lap, so you can't see the cover. And as I'm reading it, I see these two droplets fall onto the page and start to stain it. And it's like too dilute to be blood, but too red to be water. And I look up, and this old man is standing over me, and in between his hand on the rail, squished between his knuckles, was a ripe tomato. And I look at him, and like I look at the tomato, I look at him, and dude, I swear to God, in the most sexy, smooth Isaac Hayes voice, he goes, sorry, baby, my tomato, and puts it in his jean pocket. It was the best day of my life. So here about a month ago, I finally get to take my husband back to San Francisco, and like with the caveat that we have to ride the bus everywhere. So I take him on the 7 Haight that goes up to Haight-Ashbury, which is where I lived and worked for forever, and is like a guaranteed freak show. So we're riding, and this little old lady gets on, and she's got on like a hoodie and jeans, mostly normal looking, but she's got like twigs and leaves in her hair, so something's up. But she's got this full face of clownish geisha makeup, kind of faded, so she's had a rough night. But she's got like her eyeshadow underneath and these crooked eyebrows and this heart-shaped mouth, you know, and I start elbowing my husband in the ribs. I'm like, are you seeing this? And he looks over, and it would have been good enough, like, on its face. But she then systematically, slowly packs a yard of shredded toilet paper up each nostril. And then she just sits back, and I'm like, oh, God, yes. And she looks over at us and sees us looking, and slowly, without breaking eye contact, pulls a yard of toilet paper out of her nostril, and we're going nuts. So I don't live there anymore. I've traded my habit and my bus pass for like the trappings of a fully functioning adult life here, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I miss San Francisco. But I gotta say, like, good people of Tulsa, you have a pretty impressive weirdo population. Angela Evans, I was gonna say that to your face, but you're not here. But anyway, I wanna thank you from the bottom of my heart because I feel so at home here.